Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to today's video. This episode will guide you through the issues of the New Mutants published by Marvel Comics in 1984. Issue number 16. When the New Mutants team infiltrated the Massachusetts Academy to try and liberate Kitty Pryde, it all went easier than expected. Until they found out that when they thought they had found Kitty bound to a chair, it was actually a ruse. And they now find themselves confronted with the Academy's headmistress, Emma Frost, who also happens to be the White Queen of the Hellfire Club. And she tells them that their lives now belong to the Hellfire Club as the club soldiers approach them to take them captive. Illyana Rasputin, who is not only a mutant but a sorceress as well, blames herself for leading the New Mutants team into this trap. Before she's able to teleport the others away, using her mutant ability, Cannonball gestures to Magma to activate her powers and light up the room with the brightness of a sun emanating from her body. Not only that, but with the control over the molten core of the Earth, she starts up an earthquake as well. With them being deep below the ground, the tremors do not affect the Academy above, but do cause damage to the power conduits of the secret part of the complex. One of the Hellfire goons quickly activates the emergency power backup generators to turn the lights back on, but what they all find out is that the kids are gone. Knowing well that the White Queen is a mind reader, it's no use to lie about what happened, and she actually already knows what has happened. When one of the soldiers tells her that they will search for them immediately, she tells them to return back to their quarters, as she will deal with this situation herself. She tells her prisoner Kitty Pryde that she is fascinated by the newest members of the team, and that she should just stop struggling. Not only has Emma Frost tampered with her brain, disabling her mutant phasing powers, but she has also rendered her pretty much paralyzed. Kitty cannot move, no matter how hard she tries, unless Emma Frost allows her to do so. When Kitty asks what Emma's planning on doing with the kids, she tells her that she will find out soon enough, but she guarantees Kitty that they will not escape. She adds that they won't even want to escape when she's done with them. Kitty now knows that she will brainwash them, just like she is trying to do to Kitty. But Emma corrects her by telling her that she has already succeeded in brainwashing her. Emma then tells Kitty what Sebastian Shaw's and her plans are with the inner circle of the Hellfire Club, which is ruling the world, and that mutants, to them, are a means to an end. With more and more superpowered beings appearing every day, people are starting to realize their value. Whoever possesses the most of them, individuals, corporations, or governments, holds the key to world domination. Where mutants used to be hated, they are now very much desired. Mutants simply have an edge over baseline humans. They will always be feared, but people in power now wish to use them as assets, and they will do whatever they must to persuade mutants to obey. Just like the White Queen herself threatened Kitty's parents earlier, and Emma tells her to get used to it, because she will not be the last one to do so. She tells Kitty that she should make a decision whether she wishes to be a ruler or a slave. Kitty tells her that all she wants is to be left alone and live her life in peace, and she asks if that's too much to ask. Emma then tells her that she lost that option from the moment she was born. She says that if she desires true freedom, she might as well end her life, because the grave is a mutant's only lasting sanctuary. Emma then tells her that if Kitty will not join the Hellfire Club willingly, she will be forced. That choice, as always, is hers, and she adds that she hopes that Kitty's friends will profit from her example. Somewhere else in the complex, the New Mutants are making their plans. Wolfsbane is standing guard by using her transitional form to be able to catch other scents, yet still being able to communicate with the others. They are all very aware that they will not be able to hide out here for long, especially with the White Queen being a telepath. Illyana is probably the only one being able to hide from Emma Frost's telepathic scans. If Professor Xavier can't read Illyana's thoughts, neither will she. They just hope that the training they got in hiding their thoughts will be sufficient enough to be able to hide from the White Queen's side scans. Rain then tells everyone to be quiet, because she can tell there are guards approaching. Cannonball and Sunspot subdue them, but when they want to interrogate them, the female guard tells them they won't talk and they can't make them. Danielle begs to differ. She reaches into their minds to manifest their most primal terror, and to no one's surprise, that turns out to be the evil image of the White Queen. Seeing this terrifying huge image in front of them has the guards trembling with fear, willing to tell them all they want to know, telling them that they might consider themselves to be heroes, but these kind of tactics make them as cruel as the White Queen herself is. This comment hits Danielle hard and makes her doubt her intentions and powers. She walks off and starts crying, because she now realizes that her powers dig deep into the secret and personal parts of people's minds. Back when she lived in Colorado, before she joined Xavier's school, it happened by accident. But now, she's doing it by choice. Deliberately. She's now not only mad at herself for doing these things, but also for getting this messed up in the middle of a mission. Ileana approaches her and taps her on the shoulder, holding one of the soldiers' costumes while wearing the other one. She tells Danny that she hopes she won't mind them having to team up, since they seem to be the only ones who fit these uniforms. And she offers Danny to talk about what's troubling her later, but Danielle says that she'll be able to handle it. She just has to find a way to help people instead of hurting them, is what she thinks. Several minutes later, after having switched costumes, the team splits up, each with their own mission, leaving the two soldiers behind all tied up. Sam thinks how he wishes the professor was here, when they need him the most. Him and Amara team up and will go through the floor downwards to make their way to the generator room, which supplies the electricity to both the academy above as well as the complex below the ground. As Amara is using her powers to burn through the ground below them, Sam is simply amazed at how powerful Amara really is, and how powerful she will be once she has achieved total control over her powers. It makes him think back to how stupid it was when he tried to impress her with his ability to fly. He starts to wonder if his insulated costume will be enough to protect him from the molten rock, but to his surprise, he finds out Amara has already cooled it down for him to safely pass through. Once they arrive in the generator room, Amara uses her powers once more to melt the generator and to have the personnel there evacuate the room. As they are scared, the oil bunkers will catch fire as well. But unbeknownst to them, Amara makes sure they won't. All she destroys is the generator and its backup. And instantly, the school goes dark as the night itself. Of course, Emma and her prisoner Kitty notice the lights going out, and they just know who's responsible for this happening. Kitty taunts Emma, but she tells her, as she lights up a candle, that even though they are resourceful, the battle has only just begun. Anything can happen. The students, residing at the Massachusetts Academy campus, start to get out of the dorms. Even though it's late in the evening, most of them are still awake, and they don't know what's going on. The Academy security personnel drive around and tell the kids to go back inside and await further announcements. Sam and Amara try to make their way to Douglas Ramsey's room, hoping to blend in amidst the chaos on the campus. What they don't know is that a person identifying as Jetstream sees them on the scanners while he's patrolling the campus. He immediately identifies Cannonball, doesn't know who Magma is, but he's going after them. In the meantime, Ileana and Danielle are making their ways down the hallways of the secret complex below. They are trying to find Kitty, even though they are not sure where she's being held, and if the White Queen is there guarding her or not. Then, suddenly, a flashlight gets pointed at them. It's two other guards, who tell them to report to the Central Operations for new assignments. Startled and jumpy, Danielle forgot they were incognito for a minute, but Ileana tells her to not worry, because if they do get caught, she will just simply teleport them out of there. This makes Danielle ask her why they are even sneaking around, and why she just doesn't teleport them where they need to be. That would be a lot easier. But Ileana tells her that yeah, maybe it would be easier, but not safer. She then asks Ileana why not, and she tells her that her powers have drawbacks, same as Danielle's own do. She will use her teleportation powers as a last resort, and no earlier than that. Danielle then hears something, or at least she thought she did, but she doesn't know which direction it's coming from. She whispers to Ileana that she wishes Rain was here, because they certainly could use her heightened senses as well as her teeth. They then proceed, and they don't notice something is behind them on the ceiling. A shadow among shadows, with feral eyes gleaming in anticipation of the hunt and the kill. Wolfsbane and Sunspot are in a different part of the complex, and Rain apologized to Roberto for not having as accurate senses as she would have in full wolf form. But then, she would not be able to talk to him as she is now. Rain can tell, however, that Kitty has passed through this area not that long ago. Roberto asks her if there's anyone on the other side of the door, but Rain can't tell. He tells her to leave the door to him, and she tells him to be careful because he doesn't have any spare power stored in his body. Roberto responds by saying she worries too much, but she actually has all the reasons to. Roberto is more vulnerable than he thinks he is, and he doesn't have any access to direct sunlight to charge himself up again if need be. But he grabs the door, tears it from its hinges, and Rain immediately warns him that someone is there. A magnesium flare goes off, blinding Roberto, and he loses concentration, which results in him reverting back to his normal form. After which he gets punched in the face by Thunderbird, who is totally not impressed with this assignment the White Queen has given him. He thinks that punching out a kid less than half his size is no big deal at all. Wolfsbane quickly goes to wolf form and then attacks this guy, but Thunderbird is as fast as he is strong, and he intercepts her. He is not aware of her not being an actual wolf, and is surprised when Rain changes into her transitional form, and she manages to throw Thunderbird on the ground. Something then gets thrown at Wolfsbane. It seems to be a disc of black light, which somehow makes the shelves behind Wolfsbane crash on top of her. Apparently, this woman named Roulette's powers either give a person good or bad luck. And sadly for Rain, she got dealt the bad luck one, as she's getting buried. Roulette helps Thunderbird get back to his feet while she's making a sarcastic comment. Thunderbird wants to make sure that Wolfsbane wasn't hurt too badly in the crashing of the storage cabinet. But Sunspot tells him that if she is hurt, he's going to make Thunderbird wish he was never born. As Sunspot approaches them both, Roulette moves out of the way and something happens to Thunderbird's foot. Sunspot then tries to rescue Wolfsbane while thinking that his two adversaries might be coming at him from opposite sides as he is lifting the cabinet. Roulette throws one more of her disc in his direction, and suddenly Sunspot is overcome with an enormous pain in his lower back. Thunderbird asks Roulette what she did to Sunspot, and she tells him that he probably pulled a muscle or pinched a nerve, and she doesn't feel sorry about it one bit. Actually, she thinks it was quite fun. While Rain and Roberto got attacked, Danielle receives a psychic backlash through the psychic rapport she shares with Rain. She can feel Rain's pain and can't shut it out. And while Ileana tries to take care of Danielle, she herself gets grabbed by claws from the ceiling. The creature which grabbed her slams her head into the ceiling and she gets called Cat's Eye by one of her teammates. That teammate refers to herself as Tarot, and she holds a card portraying the devil, she makes it come alive and is heading for Danielle. As Sam and Amara are approaching their target, they themselves get confronted with another team member of the opposing team, namely Manuel Alfonso Rodrigo de la Rocha, who tells them that to reach Douglas Ramsey they must first get past him. He then suggests that that is not something they would want to do, and that they wouldn't want to upset a friend like that whom they love, as his eyes start flashing. And suddenly both Amara and Sam are overcome by the feeling that this person is their friend, and that they would do anything for him. But luckily for the two of them, Douglas Ramsey's sudden appearance startles Manuel, and his concentration gets broken, releasing the hold that he had over Amara and Sam. Overcome with anger because of what just happened to him, Sam rushes over to Manuel and punches him in the face, and he wants to punch him a whole lot more, but Amara tells him to stop. He's down and beaten. But then, Jetstream comes crashing through one of the windows, telling them that beating one Hellion is a far cry from beating them all, as he rams himself into Sam and they break through the walls of the building. The kids on the campus don't know what's happening, as they see Jetstream and Sam flying out of the building. The White Queen observes this, and she was hoping the Hellions would have been able to subdue the New Mutants without exposing the other students of the Academy to everything that's going on. It's past time, she thinks, to take matters into her own hands. Jetstream is making his way towards a tree, trying to make sure that if slamming Sam into the wall of the building didn't knock him out, this impact will. Even though Sam is quite out of it, he is not out cold, He can barely activate his power in time to prevent Jetstream from being successful in executing his plans, and Jetstream himself crashes into the tree instead. But unfortunately for Sam, it's not over yet. The Hellion named Manuel, whose codename is Empath, has regained his hold over Amara, and he changes her affection for Sam into deep hatred, making her want to kill him, so she attacks him with her powers as magma. He's trying to tell her to stop it, but of course, that is no use. It's a good thing Sam is invulnerable when he's blasting, or he would have been fried. He's looking for Empath, figuring he must not have hit him hard enough, but he's nowhere to be seen. Nor does he see Jetstream approaching him again from behind. But luckily for Sam, one of Amara's bolts of lava hits him, making him fall to the ground. Overcome with mixed emotions, Sam decides to try and catch him before he crashes into the ground, regardless of whether Jetstream would have done the same for him or not. Sam strains himself. It's going to be a close call. But he makes it. He caught Jetstream in time. And it doesn't matter if he'll be able to make the turn, because anyone he's holding is protected by his blast field as well. Being this close to Jetstream, Sam finds out that he's just a kid as well, even younger than he himself is. And as he thinks that, they both get hit by one of Amara's bolts. The impact throws Sam off, and they both plummet to the ground. Empath sees this happening, and he likes it, and he does not really care about his teammate crashing along with Sam. He enjoys playing with people far too much to actually care about others. His excitement in watching Sam crashing causes him to temporarily let go of his hold over Amara, who now realizes that she possibly killed Sam. Overcome with guilt, even though she couldn't help herself, makes her want to kill Empath, who is taking a look at the crater created by Sam and Jetstream's impact. And then we find out that Sam is fine, as he blasts his way out of the crater and punches Empath harder than he had before. A lot harder. And this time, Empath is knocked out unconscious. Sam checks up on Amara to see if she's alright, because he knows she attacked him only because she was under the influence of Empath, and he accidentally calls her a sweetheart. She says that she is herself again, but was afraid that she had hurt him. She then asks Sam if he, like them, is a mutant, but he tells her that maybe he is a mutant, but he's nothing like them. And in their thoughts, they both think about Sam's slip of tongue. And then Douglas Ramsey comes running out of the building, yelling out how he can't believe that these kids he's known for some time now have superpowers. And he can't wait to tell his friend Kitty, but he then gets stopped in his tracks and stumbles a bit. And when they turn around, Amara and Sam's jaws drop as well, as they are now face to face with the White Queen, Emma Frost, and she uses her mental powers to distort their perception of reality instantly, making Sam think that the White Queen is actually a version of Amara who might have been, had she been born and grown up in his world. She then starts flirting with him, and Sam simply cannot resist. To Amara though, the White Queen appears to look like a mother, the woman she has never come to know, and she can't believe what she's seeing. Both Sam and Amara are now like puppets on a string for the White Queen to control. And she then uses her powers to suggest for Doug to head back to bed as well. And she makes sure by performing a discreet mind wipe that he will have no recollection of what he had seen in the morning when he wakes up. To Doug, there had been no battle and the New Mutants were never here. Inside the complex, there's a struggle going on for Danielle Moonstar. She's getting attacked by this devil creature, and as it wraps its chain around her throat, she starts changing and distorting into a corrupted version of herself. Not just her body, but her soul as well. And it all happens so fast that she has no time to react to try and do something against it. And now, she has no desire to do so anymore either. Ileana, who is still being held by Cat's Eye, sees this happening and in desperation summons her soul sword, which is a magical blade and the ultimate manifestation of her eldritch powers. She first attacks Cat's Eye with it, and when she drops to the floor, she slashes Tarot's creation. Not only does the demon instantly discorporate, but Tarot herself receives quite the psychic backlash, leaving her dazed and terrified as Ileana approaches her. Ileana looks crazy to her, and she's certain that she means to kill her if she were to get close to her. Tarot then uses one more of her cards, and Ileana isn't sure what's going to happen now. She wonders if Tarot is like her, a sorceress as well. What Tarot summoned was a mounted knight of swords, the complete warrior, And as it comes at Ileana, she soon finds out that the warrior is not the only threat, as the horse it's riding on kicks her and she falls to the floor right next to Danielle. At this moment, the White Queen enters the room they are all fighting in, and she tells the kids to come to her, and that playtime is over. She's planted an image in Danielle's mind, but finds out that she can't do the same to Ileana's mind. Her mind is close to the White Queen's telepathic powers. The White Queen appears to Danielle as a grandfather, and she's confused on how that's even possible. Ileana tells her to not look at him, to not listen, that it's a trick and the White Queen is deceiving her. They are both hurt, and Ileana knows that they are no match for the White Queen, so she summons one of her teleportation discs and they teleport out of there in a hurry. Tarot and the White Queen have no idea where they're teleported to, but the White Queen can tell that they are nowhere close by, since she can't sense Danielle's thoughts anywhere near the school. What Emma will do is notify the Black King of the Hellfire Club, Sebastian Shaw, and he will make sure that every operative of the club will be looking out for them, wherever they are. Danielle and Ileana's escape will not last for very long. Thanks for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it. You can help growing this channel by liking, subscribing and sharing. This tells YouTube that the videos I'm making should be recommended to others and would be very much appreciated. See you next episode.